Matt Steiny, Steiny the Guru Johnson with you, joined by Dibs and Willard.
Gentlemen.
Looking at me.
Let's go.
Guess who's back? Back
who's
again.
back.
Steiny's back. Tell a friend.
Yeah, this is an interesting text on the Comcast business text line. It's no judgment, but so the 49ers are going into the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy and a rookie kicker. Like, I kind of think that is kind of interesting. So
I don't think we were done talking about you.
I mean, dude,
I think you just tried to jump.
Wow.
You just totally
saw that, Willard?
tried to jump that. And
Dude,
I don't feel like letting you. You look way too normal. I now question
look
whether
good.
this surgery even happened.
Yeah.
toughest thing today was shaving. I had one of those dead razors.
You don't have a cane. You don't have
You
a
cut
limp.
yourself. I see that.
I didn't see the whole show.
You look like Steiny. You look like Matt. You sound like him too, by the way.
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. And like I said, I unveiled my Mount Surgeon Moore. Mm-hmm.
Nice. The Surgeon
David
General.
Seidman. Oh, I forgot C. Everett Koop.
Thank you.
I had Frank Joe. I had James Andrews. Richard Ferkel. He was the guy who did Curry's early surgery.
Yeah, don't sleep on Ella Trache either. And my main man, Dr. Michael Krinsky, who you know from your days on the Warrior Beat,
sure.
he cut on me twice. And I also have to shout out the great Chupan for the reverse
This
vasectomy.
kid got like 8 doctors.
That one. That
Dr.
one
Pietro
still-
did my initial knee, but Chupan, what he did to my testicles.
Yeah, can I
Oh, boy.
admit
Are we on the
something?
stream yet?
Can I? Yeah, we're practicing.
Sorry.
3:30, we get to say whatever the hell we want. YouTube and the
Drop
Odyssey
'em.
app. Make sure you're there. But anyway, I have to admit something to you. I've never said this to you before because
Okay.
you talk about surgeries and health all the time because
I've had 5,
You've
yeah.
had 28 of them.
Yeah.
That one still makes me cringe. Every time you bring it up.
The reverse vasectomy?
It still makes my shoulders
Willard, I
go
couldn't
up.
do it, man.
My whole neck disappears into my sweater, and I just...
Yeah.
I'm just... It's not you.
No.
You did it. You have a beautiful baby.
Exactly.
But it's just the idea of it.
No, it's
Having to ice
nauseating.
that region? Oh, my goodness.
God.
Well, 2 things on that story. First of all, when you go in, it's not covered by insurance, so
Great.
they hit you right away with, the anesthesiologist wants $1,500, so you rack, and then you move over to the other booth, and they go, that's going to be $5K for us.
Other booth.
Dude, they hit you with $1,500.
It's like
and then
Radio Row.
And then the surgery center's like, it's going to be $5 large. And I will say this, though. Before that, I needed a favor. And I called one man.
I was in need of a favor.
I was in need of a favor. And it was last minute, and I didn't plan it right. And so I said, who's going to help me? Who's going to do me a solid? I needed a ride there. I needed someone to drive my car and drop me off so that my then, I don't even know,
whatever you
fiancé,
wanna call
girlfriend,
it.
whatever
Yeah.
she is, my baby mama.
Yeah.
So she could pick me up. One man, step forward, Matt Steinmetz.
Stylic Daddy.
Yeah, you
I
drove
kinda
me
forget.
there.
He
You
doesn't
drove
even
me
remember
there.
anymore.
Boy,
Yeah.
I drove
It
to
was
your
a special
house,
moment.
and you drove my car, and you dropped me off, and then somebody I think picked you up because I needed my car there.
I think
so she could
I
get
think
my
I
car.
walked back in the snow.
Both ways. Yeah, but anyway, as we get it back to Steiny. And,
Lori Matthews, real quick, Dibs on the YouTube chat says, that's nothing to 5 large compared to the cost of the baby. That's a 10.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But that's covered.
Glory for the
that's
win.
mostly
Exactly.
covered.
So
Yeah.
the
They
cost of the
covered
baby, and we talked about it yesterday, was $250 for her to go through labor, 3 days in the hospital, and the whole deal.
Wow.
My reversal, shout out Chupan, the great Chupan, the 30-year-old out of Harvard, straight out of Harvard, literally straight out of Harvard. He said, you know what? I can fix it. And I said, all right, doc, cut me. Here's my...
Oh, Willard.
Here they are.
Man.
Come at me. Come at me, doc. 6 hours later and 18 months later, I have a baby.
Congratulations.
Look at my man.
Is that,
Not surgery
Ross
more.
Tucker?
Yeah.
Don't call it a comeback.
Congratulations. No, it's somebody else.
Yeah, it's about you, Steiny. Quit trying to be shy.
It is about you.
So
So
we're worried about you.
what's the return to golf for you?
Oh, I haven't really thought about that at all.
Sure you
Probably
have.
a couple months.
Sure you have.
No,
That's
actually,
all,
I haven't.
That's all you've thought about.
I actually haven't.
You have a lot of time on your
Willard, he
hands.
was supposed to be out to the end of March.
I know.
It was kind of a weird story. So middle last week, I'm like, I can't believe how good I feel. This is unbelievable. Talked to the doctor assistant. I said, I think I'm ready to go back, but I needed a note. So he says, all right, the doctor's gone for I'll see if I can send you. So the dude sends a note to Nahegan and says, Steinmetz is going to be ready to come back to work March 20th.
Let's go, Evan.
Nahegan goes, March 20th? Huh? So
That's a long
I had a
time.
call.
Yeah.
I called up.
Yeah.
Got on the phone, talked to Rick Celebrini, and we accelerated the process.
What's funny is you got
you
on the
negotiated.
radio and you listened to how good Evan was, and you thought, I got to get back there.
I saw the ratings too.
Dude,
I saw the ratings. No, they were, geez,
fantastic.
very good, very good.
Evan's no longer sneaky good. He's just flat good.
Yeah,
And that's a problem.
I didn't tell him about the cane joke, Dib, so I'm trying to.
I said, yeah.
I'm trying to give
Dude.
Evan a pass.
I
didn't-
put
way,
him in check.
I
I put
didn't-
Giddings
yeah.
in check. He came down your road.
yeah,
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not sure if anybody needs a walker
I'm like,
or a commode.
Shout out Texas Ranger.
If they're still there, I can donate some to charity. Got all this apparatus now.
Yeah.
Stuff
Surprised that you spelled commode wrong repeatedly.
What is it? COMMODE?
Correct.
What did I spell it?
With a K, like kimono.
Oh, boy.
I thought
Oh, yeah,
maybe you
like
had a
you-
kimono
I think that's a Japanese version.
of the commode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's part kimono, part commode.
And don't forget the Komodo dragon, which you
You're
don't want in your.
You are everywhere. You are everywhere.
How are we doing with the Warriors?
Warriors. It's Super Bowl week, dude. Come on.
All right, well,
what are we
let's
doing?
talk Super
we'll be
Bowl.
there Wednesday.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're going to Vegas. You're going to Vegas a
this.
month and a half before you were even supposed to be back at work. That's what I love. You weren't even supposed to come back here, yet somehow on Wednesday you're on a plane to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Is the job finished?
In the middle.
Job's not
The
finished.
job's not finished.
Job's not finished.
Nope, it's not. It's not.
If I had to make a bet on this game, it's tough to not bet.
Mavericks in 5.
It's no. This is about. This is about.
welcome.
This
Oh,
is
like, what
about.
they play,
Like if
the Nets.
I wouldn't bet this game because I don't know. I think it's a coin flip game. I really do. I think it's 50-50.
It could go either way.
But how
sure.
could you like if I had? I couldn't allow Mahomes to beat me in the bet. Like it's not that I don't think the 49ers could, but I would have to bet.
Well,
Mahomes
the
is
mere-
like the great
the
equalizer.
mere
to me.
concept of Mahomes and points is something that almost never exists. That's very now. I know it's existed the last two
Yeah.
games, and if you did it, you lost.
Plus 191.
Or I'm
with the
sorry,
Ravens.
if you took
Yeah.
it, you won. If you Mahomes and you get points, and obviously he's won both games outright. So I get that. Mahomes is pure greatness. There's no other way to say it. And I've heard a lot of people say that this is kind of like player versus roster when you're looking at. And by the way, on our stream today, and for those of you who didn't know what we were talking about, there's a Warrior game with the broadcast, and the countdown will start at 3:30. So we're going to do our normal thing from 2 to 3:30, and then at 3:30, the Willard and Dibs Super Bowl party starts, which is on YouTube and the Odyssey app.
Yeah.
It's commercial,
the phone.
commercial
Yeah.
free. Commercial free for 2.5 hours. So Dibs Vaudeville act will probably be
Sure.
somewhere around 4:45
Look at the
would be my
eyes.
guess.
Dude, I'm
But anyway,
ready.
going to run
Yeah,
so
it's-
much material.
but we're
And the
having-
FCC, it's going to be like MC Hammer. Can't touch this.
You're exactly right. But I will promote this though. At 4:15, you guys have heard me a number of times text what I refer to as my Vegas guy. My Vegas guy is going to come on
live.
at 4:15. He now works for DraftKings. He used to run the Win. This is not just some dude who lives in Henderson. This is a real guy. And how this number comes together
It is
from
amazing.
beginning to middle to end. I really want the story, and I think that there's no line in the NFL season more fascinating than this one because of that exact dynamic that you just brought
Call
up.
And
my
the
message phone.
The number we're working with is 1.5.
Or two. It's
Niners favored.
I've seen
Yes.
it. Yeah, I've seen it
Mahomes,
most. Let me look.
Mostly at 2.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit of
think-
1.5 out
Still
there.
at still at 2. Where I go, it's still at 2.
I'd have to bet on the Chiefs with
And
that line.
And I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But there's Dibs knows this. There's also something that I like has long been, and this isn't complex, but my betting philosophy.
Yeah.
When you see a number like that, where you're like, what? I get Mahomes and points? Ridiculous.
Right.
Well, my philosophy is to lean against that stuff.
Yeah.
Because Vegas is not just putting this stuff together willy-nilly.
Dibs?
I like the Niners.
Do you?
And I like the Niners for simple reasons. And I think about the Niners offense being a lot better than it was the first time, and the defense being a little bit worse. And the Chiefs' defense is a lot better, but their offense is significantly worse. So I think about where this game has the edge, and I think that it's the Niners and the ability to run the ball and keep Mahomes off the field. I think that the Chiefs' run defense is suspect, and so I think that this becomes a game where Kyle Shanahan looks for 35 minutes of TOP, time of possession. You keep Mahomes off the field, and you cash in with touchdowns, not field goals. I think it'll be a close game, but I do think the Niners come out on top.
What do you think about Mahomes against a 49er defense that's just looked so-so in the postseason?
I don't worry as much about it because you don't have Tyreek Hill, and you've got Kelsey. Yes, you do. And you've got Rashee Rice, who I've watched all year on my fantasy team. But the Niners secondary, in terms of Charvarius Mooney Ward, he'll be able to take away Rashee Rice. The big X factor for me is Travis Kelsey. Can you devote enough defensive personnel to try to take him away? Because if you do, Isaiah Pacheco, good running back, but he's not going to go for $160 against you. I don't believe that.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Steve Wilkes is a real interesting character in this game because what he likes to run, I can't wait to see this. Does he change his stripes? Does he change it up a little bit? Or does he do like a Dan Campbell and be like, this is who we are, and this is what we do? Okay, that can bite you. We'll find out. But what he likes to do is just go base. He wants to get that pressure with just his base 4. He wants to run zone. Travis Kelsey, I'd argue, maybe the best zone killer in the entire NFL. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you start dedicating Fred Warner in a man-to-man situation, or do you go with what is your comfort zone but may not necessarily stack up in this one? It all stacks up if their D-line produces, but they've been head-scratchingly unproductive. And the most uncomfortable thing for me that I've ever seen leading up to a Super Bowl is that one of the topics is effort. I can't even believe that that was being discussed last week. I can't believe that Chase Young and others have allowed that to be a topic. And the idea that, we talked to him, so it's all taken care of now. It's like, if you, in a free agent year, after being traded in the NFC title game, if you need to be told to max your effort, you got a DNA problem. You got a freaking DNA problem. And so I don't know. I don't know if that shows up this weekend or not.
Couple things about the Detroit game. Would you guys, the Dan Campbell going for it? 4th and 2, would have been a 45-yard field goal midway through the third-ish.
Stupid. He was 0 for 3 on his 4th down calls. He should have gone for the first one.
I didn't mind the one at the end of the half to take the 3 to make it 24-7.
I thought that's the one where you go for it.
Okay.
And then 4th and 2, you come out, and the Niners get the field goal, and you're up 24-10, and you go for it in that spot. That's where you take the 3. And then later in the game, you absolutely take that 3. And you missed on the 2, and you got the field goal on the first one, and that helped swing the game.
I wouldn't have gone for any of them. I would not have gone for any of them. And I told Dibs this last week. When I'm a fan of a team, I judge the other team's decisions based on what my emotions want them to do.
Sure, of course.
And I wanted them to go for it each time, which tells me they shouldn't have.
I knew what he wanted to do. I think he wanted to obviously get it and then take another 3 or 4 minutes off the clock. And then what if you score a touchdown there? It's almost over at that point.
No doubt.
I also, and again, I would have taken the field goal too, but we do have a tendency to say, I would have taken the field. Still a 45-yarder. It's still
a 45-yarder.
And we've seen guys miss in the postseason.
We can also argue the other point, which is if you get 4th and 2 and get 3 yards, that doesn't guarantee you 7.
Correct.
You're still back at the 25-yard line.
But
you still got to turn that into 6 for it to matter. I know more time comes off the clock. I just look at it this way. To me, there's an emotional side of being a Lion in that case that Dan Campbell didn't acknowledge. This is a bunch of players outside of Jared Goff who've never been here before.
Right.
And they've been told for a week, hey, guys, this is the biggest game in the history of this uniform. That whole fan base is in tears. And so what you have to guard against in that moment is when you've got a lead, you can't do the, oh no, here they come. Because the second you make those 49ers feel like, oh my gosh, we have a path to the comeback, I feel like you're letting the emotional floodgates open. And it happened. Fumble, drop pass. Like it all just cratered.
And that's the part that's kind of, you don't know how to factor it in. The one thing I do remember, the very last thing I thought when I said he should attempt the 45-yard field goal here is because just acknowledging not so much momentum, although you can't. The 49ers are good. They're going to make a run in that game at some point. We know that. And the last thing I thought was, if you don't get it, now you're one play away from the Niners being right there.
Exactly.
And that was the play that IU came.
3 scores to 2 scores is massive.
No doubt. There's no doubt.
Massive.
And Mark laid it out. It was really 5 plays. You went from a 2-touchdown lead to a tie game because you don't get it, and the Niners go off the helmet, and then 2 more plays, touchdown, and then your first play out, you fumble, and then they score again, and now it's 24-24 like that.
And then you go 3 and out because of another drop pass. Like, people don't even remember. The game was still tied.
No doubt.
And Josh Reynolds on a wide open 3rd and 8 just bounced right off his 8.
Yep.
So they collapsed. They gagged. And I feel like he didn't acknowledge that possibility with the way he was calling plays and coaching.
Yeah, I don't like the old, I would do it again, I would do it again, I would do it again. Would you really?
Yeah.
Would you really? See, I wouldn't. I'd take a shot at being up 27-10. And my kicker making that field goal, and now we're up 27-10 midway through the third. Tell you what, though, the Niners, man, they still have. See, this is where I thought Purdy was phenomenal, actually, in the second half of that game. Like, I don't think Jared Goff could bring the Lions back because he's less willing to make a mistake than Purdy. Like, in order to come back from 3 scores, Purdy had to make some risky decisions and gutsy, and he made them.
For me, the bottom line is the athleticism that he has that Jared does not change the game. Like, once you have defensive coordinators start to change it up, send in blitzes and do all of that, a quarterback is going to get knocked off of his spot. Brock Purdy can handle that, and Jared Goff can't. And that's what started to happen to both teams in the second half. Got knocked off their spot. Brock Purdy ran for first downs. Jared Goff threw incompletions.
I know, and I hate
it.
And listen, I hate to come down Jared Goff's road, but that's kind of what I hate. Drop back. Thing. He hit Reynolds right in the numbers. He dropped it. He threw it. Hit a guy in the. He dropped it, and then it's like, well, that's really good, but hell, I'd rather have Brock Purdy scrambling for 17 yards.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
50 yards on 3 scrambles, and those were big in setting up scores late in the game.
Go, you've gone like 15 minutes without saying a word.
If you guys pass the damn rock, I'll shoot. No, you guys are catching up with Steiny. You know how to take a play.
Bounce pass, go.
Yeah. No, Lowe was texting me, so I was trying to hook some stuff
What'd he say? What'd he say? Where are you going? Where are you
I was
going?
texting him. Dibs was talking.
Where are you going?
Well,
where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to go?
Where the party's at?
Is it still the same, by the way? It's been like I used to. When I was doing, hit the drop ready. When I was doing mostly like when it was the Tony Bruno days and we were doing national. Yeah. Plus, I think Radio Row was different back then.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. Radio stations weren't doing the massive cost-benefit analysis. It was just like, we're going.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't matter who's in the game. We're going. And so we went every year, and there were parties that you were trying to get into every single night. And now I feel like it's different. Yeah. It's different.
Dibs but now it's Vegas. Years ago, he got to one, so we're hoping that'll help me and Steiny.
How many years ago was that, though?
That was pre-COVID.
Miami, right?
That was, Miami. That was 2020, and that was actually the beginning of the end of Radio Row, and now it's Media Row. But even that week, Radio Row was not like you and I remember from previous years of like New Orleans, and
Just like the stop. Wow.
He sent the whole station to Indianapolis that year.
Not me.
I don't know if you were on board yet.
I think I was part-time at that
Willard, I
point.
didn't know you noticed. I was texting.
Indianapolis.
My God.
Good little city.
Get into your party.
Indianapolis is underrated for sure.
It's great for a Super Bowl because it's so compact.
And the Circle City, it's all right there downtown. Minneapolis also on my Mount underrated city more.
yeah.
And you have a much more elaborate because you've been to more cities than
Minneapolis is a good city.
Minneapolis
It's great
is
for
sneaky
Final
good.
Fours too. You can meet Rick Barry 4 times and he won't remember you
Rick,
any of the
I had
4
a 3 in
times.
Of course,
front of
Minneapolis
Rick.
with the habit trail.
Yeah.
They have a habit trail.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right?
Oh, yeah.
No.
So you know how you ever have a
That's where
gerbil
hamsters live.
or a hamster?
Yes.
And they have those big plastic cages and there's tubes that go.
I don't do rodents.
Well, they have them in Minneapolis. It gets so cold you can walk 6 blocks in Minneapolis without ever having to go
Indy,
outside.
same thing. You can
Yeah,
go indoor
exactly.
in the Circle City. You can go from building to building, and then you go up an escalator, and then you go through a lobby, and then you go across an overpass.
Wow.
And you could go like 6 blocks without ever having to go outside.
Are you and Willard going to ask me about my experience at Dick's Sporting Good in Ceremony? I got to interview Jeff Garcia.
Hold on,
I didn't
Goo.
see
Hold
any
on, Goo.
pictures on the gram with you and
must have
Jeff.
been- you must have been off the thing. It's on there.
Goo.
Yeah.
You and Jeff?
How was your experience at Dick's Sporting Goods at Ceremony with Jeff Garcia?
What if I told you I was nervous going in because we had a little
Oh, I
history?
wouldn't be-
with
I
our
know, I
interview.
wasn't surprised
but
at all. Yeah.
We cut out to his people. It was all good. But yeah, I plastered him on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any with you and Jeff. I saw some with you, like being there and
Yeah, and Jeff
like,
had on
hyping
the
up
white. I'm a
event
little
and-
taller than him, but he was a good dude. Looked like he could still play.
Oh yeah, he stays in shape. He stays in shape. Did you pick up any goods for your for you and yours or?
I had the missus with me. I'll say yeah.
Kept the
No
wallet
swag.
in the pocket.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
We'll be
that's,
listening. Drop them F-bombs.
That's gonna do it. You're on 95.7 The Game.
coming up at
Willard and
3:30.
Dibs on the other side. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Niners.
Potty mouth.